Are we on the air, Ma?
We are, Pa.
Welcome, everybody. I'm Randy.
And I'm Linda.
And a few days ago, we were invited to be interviewed on a local radio program about beekeeping.
And it turned out to be a lot more fun than what we thought it might be.
Yeah, it was. In fact, when you hear the opening audio of the program, you'll hear the host just laughing uncontrollably almost. And there's a reason for that.
Yeah, Randy's the reason for that.
Don't listen to Linda. What it was is I reached up to move the microphone closer to me, and as I was doing that, the mic fell off of the arm, just adjustable arm, and then right into my hand, just as Ellis was beginning the program. So you'll understand what that laughing is all about to go from there. But
the audio on this is not what we would like it to be, but it was a radio broadcast, and that's where it was recorded.
Yeah, sort of like listening to radio late at night years ago and trying to tune in a radio station this far away. A lot of nostalgia for me anyway, so we hope you enjoy it.
And thanks for listening.
Your news and information leader, 1240 AM and 102.7 FM, KBIZ. Let's get you back to our news director and the host of Mid-Morning Magazine, Ellis Kojo. And welcome to Page 2. Thanks again for joining us on this Tuesday morning. It's great to have you with us here on Mid-Morning Magazine. For Page 2, I welcome in a couple of guests here in studio. Broken already. It happens all the time. I tell you what. You got it, Randy, or should I?
Yeah, I got it.
Cool. All right.
Cool.
We're joined by Randy Spears as well as Linda Spears, and I'm glad you got that on your own because not a lot of people can get that back on their own. They get detached the microphone, and then all of a sudden they're just lost. It never happened while I'm on the verge of going back on the air, however. So thanks for saving me on that.
That's fine.
Randy and Linda Spears, they are local beekeepers, and they live in Hedrick. And Linda actually lobbed a phone call out to me and says, hey, we're some beekeepers. Would you like to have us on? And I have never personally spoke to a beekeeper. So I'd like to thank you for reaching out to me. And first of all, good morning. How are the two of you?
Good morning. Fine. Good morning.
Yeah,
Good.
we're doing good.
That's awesome to hear. Okay. What made you want to be a beekeeper?
Well, I'm a master gardener,
Okay.
and I needed extra classroom, and the bee course was available, and so I asked Randy. I said, "What do you think about signing up for the bee course?" And he wasn't really into it too much, but being the gallant person that he is, he accompanied his wife to something he didn't like.
So he was being a supportive husband is what
Yes.
you're saying. Gotcha. Okay. Randy, what made you so hesitant about taking a bee course?
I guess I grew up as a kid thinking the only purpose of a bee was to sting me.
Yep, pretty much. That's I felt the same
And I
way.
didn't really know too much about him. But once I went to the class, we started learning more and getting more questions in our minds. And then we had some fruit trees that didn't produce. And we decided through some investigation we needed a pollinator. So we got our first hive. And we had lots and lots of fruit that year. Even we had some black walnuts trees who hadn't produced very good, but they were just loaded. So that got us started.
Wow, so the bees helped pollinate your trees and made them produce better than what you've ever seen?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Wow, okay. So what did you learn about bees that made you want to get a hive?
I took the course. I said that's the next step, and so I had to talk him into getting a hive.
All right, so taking a bee course is one thing. Getting a hive is a completely different story. So what precautions do you need to take when you get a beehive?
You need to know where it's coming from.
Okay.
You want healthy bees. Nothing more discouraging than to put all your work into something and then it dies.
Well, you want to wear protective clothing.
Obviously.
Yeah, bee suit, gloves, and all that good stuff.
Okay. Now, go ahead, Linda.
So there is some money outlay. You have the hive components, and you have your bee suit, different things. So, if you're thinking about getting a hive, then you need to know that there is a money out.
So there is a financial commitment you need to make if you're going to get a hive.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay. So when the bees come and you have your bees for the first time, do you know how to handle them? Did you get taught on how to handle them? I guess what did you do when you got your first hive?
I think Linda fell and broke her ankle.
Yes.
What?
Trying to get away from some bees. But
Honest. My bee suit wasn't zipped up quite right.
well, learning how to do things through a class, reading a book are fine, but in any endeavor in life, until you actually get in there and start doing get your own experience, that's when you really start learning in a hurry.
Okay.
Especially if there's a financial commitment.
I need to go back to Linda breaking her ankle. Were you there when she broke her ankle, Randy? Did you have to help her? Did Linda have to crawl to safety? What?
No, we were stepped off the edge of the sidewalk with her foot, and it twisted a little bit. I was right there, but
Yeah,
I
it
didn't
just
know
went
she-
to the side and went snap.
Oh, goodness. Oh, wow. Well, I'm sorry that happened to you, but obviously that didn't discourage you from continuing, and I'm sure you took the proper precautions next time and made sure that your bee suit was properly sealed.
Yeah.
He got out his equipment and put more rock in there so that it was all smoothed off, and it's been smoothed off since.
How long have the two of you been beekeepers?
Whew. How long do you think?
I'm not sure.
6 years maybe or so?
Yeah, 6 or
Okay.
7.
And it's obviously something that you like. What are some of the benefits of having bees that you didn't realize that existed?
They're calming.
Are
They're
they?
very calming. You know, I can be having a bad day. We go out in the bee yard and everything just gets better.
Yeah, they put off their frequency with their buzzing, they're moving their wings, and it does have a calming effect.
Interesting.
Actually, we've looked into a bee bed. They make these houses, these little, like a tiny house, and all around it are the beehives. Now, the beehives aren't inside the house, but they are around the outside. But when you go inside, you can actually lay on top of the beehives.
Pretty popular in Europe.
Okay, in Europe, not so much here. Yeah, it'll take a pretty open mind for somebody to have a bee bed. We're speaking with Linda and Randy Spears. They're local beekeepers living in Hedrick. They join us here at Mid Morning Magazine on 1240 AM and 102.7 FM KBIZ. We're in the dead of winter. Do you need to get a new hive every year, or does when you get a hive, is it self-sustaining, or how does that work?
Yes, it's self-sustaining if you, as a beekeeper, take care of it. You have to to have a good beehives that go into winter, you have to start in the spring, keeping them healthy, and managing them as they go along.
What steps do you need to take to keep the bees healthy?
Give them some good nutrition. We feed them extra pollen, it's a protein, and make sure they have some food when there's what they call a dearth, when the flowers are no longer blooming, nothing for them to get nectar from. Take care of mites and things like that. There's pests get in the hive. And you just want to build up. To go into winter, you want a really strong hive with a lot of food stores in there.
A healthy hive.
A healthy hive, strong and healthy.
Obviously, you don't keep it outdoors, do you? Where do you keep your hive during the winter?
Yeah, it's
Oh,
outdoors.
you keep it outdoors? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
You have to come out and see it.
I guess I have to now. I mean,
Kids.
what? I have a 7-year-old and a 5-year-old. They're both boys. I don't know how they would feel about visiting a beehive, but I might be able to talk them into it. The wife might be a different story. She might not want to come. Obviously, do you have honey as well? Do you sell honey from the beehives?
Yes.
I've heard the benefits of raw honey. That has to be just great.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, you could put raw honey on a sore. If you injure yourself, you can put raw honey on the sore, and it works as an antibiotic.
No kidding.
No kidding.
Huh. I'm learning all types of things today.
Oh, we got all kinds of information.
Well, that's just great. That's pretty awesome. And so, You're a master gardener. Randy, are you a master gardener or is it
No,
Linda? Okay.
no,
All right. So what's it been like going on this journey with Linda? Because she's pretty much the one that said, okay, let's take a bee course. Okay, let's get a hive. And now all of a sudden the two of you are beekeepers going on 6 years now.
Yeah, well, I dragged my feet enough in the start, but I'm right in there now. I really enjoy working the bees and being with them, and
okay.
it's rewarding.
Okay, you don't need to admit that you listen to your wife and things turned out okay. Yeah, you don't
We'll
need
keep
to.
that our secret.
Yeah, we'll keep that a secret between us. Not a problem. All right. So, what steps you need to take between now and say the end of winter for your beehive in order to make sure your bees are healthy?
Well, we've been feeding them. They have honey. They have honey stores, but sometimes they go straight up. So sometimes they don't go over to where the honey is, and so we make sure there's a mixture of sugar and pollen in the very top of the hive, so that when they come up, they have something to eat. And then we check that once a month. So when we check it, sometimes they haven't touched it, sometimes they've eaten it all, so we have to replace whatever they have eaten.
Now, you said that pests might get into the beehives. So what type of animals are we talking about that like bees?
It's called a Varroa mite.
I've never heard of that animal before.
Yeah, it takes a while to figure out how to pronounce that.
It just rolled off the tongue for you, though, so obviously you have a lot of experience with that. So are the mites, those mites, do they survive year round? Are they particularly prevalent during a certain season?
They'll survive year-round.
Oh, okay.
Because the bee cluster is warm. The bees like to be like 93 degrees.
Oh, man, they're speaking my language.
So that's why you'd like a bee bed.
Like I said, I have to persuade the wife into getting a bee bed. That might be a bit too far on the ask scale, but go ahead.
But they go into the brood cells. The brood cells is where they make their baby bees.
Mm-hmm.
And so they go into the brood cells and damage them before they're even born.
I see.
And then they'll be on the bees, and they bring in viruses and those kind of things. So you have to keep that mite count down as low as possible.
The biggest pest we've ever had getting in the hive was a mouse.
A mouse?
Yeah, they'll get in there.
I didn't know mice like bees. Or they like the honey?
They like the honey.
Gotcha. Okay.
And a warm place to stay.
Oh, yeah.
Mice are everywhere.
Yeah, mice are definitely everywhere. You're right about that. What's the lifespan of a bee?
There's summer bees and winter bees.
Okay.
Summer bees work very hard, and 4 to 6 weeks is about their lifespan.
No kidding. Wow.
That does not count the queen. She lives much longer.
Mm.
But as the winter comes along, the queen produces what they call winter bees, which is a fatter bee, has more hair on it, and they'll last 4 months or 5 months, something like that.
Wow.
They'll last into the spring.
I need to have you two back on because we're running out of time and I have so many more questions regarding bees, and this has just been a fascinating conversation. And yeah, you extended the invitation for me to come out. I might have to come out and visit you too. So, but Linda, thank you so much for coming in contact with me, and thank you for educating not only me but the rest of us on bees and being a beekeeper. And thank you so much. And it was a pleasure meeting you and Randy. And have a great rest of your morning. And we'll talk again soon. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome. That was Randy and Linda Spears. They are local beekeepers living in Hedrick. Thanks to them for joining us here on Mid Morning Magazine. And thanks to you for listening here on 1240 AM and 102.7 FM KBIZ. Have a great Tuesday, and we'll talk to you again tomorrow.